don't need to start from the start, but this woman was with her kids and kids' friends, and I want to say they were coming from like maybe a year 7 graduation or some shit. And they said, let's stop off at the falls. And this woman and these children went in there and they pulled into the car park. And the first thing they noticed was this abandoned vehicle with like kind of stuff kind of strewn about. And then this woman said she'd heard like what sounded like a young girl kind of crying out in the scrub, and it stopped, and so she didn't think too much of it. The 2 girls dart off, go to the falls and start swimming, and the woman recounting this story was saying that she didn't hear any kind of wildlife. She said it was very still, no birds, no insects, nothing like that. So she kept going in towards the falls, and the girls were already there having their swim. And then the next thing they kind of hear is snapping of tree branches like up, because they're down at the bottom of the falls, and they're looking up. And they're hearing the snapping of the trees, and this roar. And then, I guess I can only assume panic sets in for them, and she just tells the girls to kind of, come on, let's go, and they're dropping things, and she's picked up the 7-year-old boy, and she's running, and she's picking up towels and whatever else, and she's just going, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. And then they just get in the car, no seat belts, no booster seat or whatever else, had to happen. She was just in the car and then flying, and then she gets stopped by a police officer.
Oh.
And she tells him like, yeah, Ben and car there, and then she just fucking flies, she says. And she's just carrying on, and then a few minutes later, the police officer just fucking flies past her, and she eventually goes and drops because one of the kids isn't hers, and she drops off in Coonabarabran, drops her off to the family, and it's like said, we had this really weird experience, and she goes, yeah, look, that's the Pilliga for you, even though the falls area was outside the Pilliga, and they weren't too concerned, but one of the other kids that wasn't hers that dropped off did show some concern. And she goes on to say that she went into the police station maybe, let's say, a couple months later to kind of follow up on this, and they said no, that officer came back,
never been seen
went
again?
went on leave, and never came back to the force. Dad, this is the story. This is the story this woman tells.
Wow.
They just towed the abandoned car, and just assumed that it was just a stolen car and abandoned, and that's it. And she goes on, as the kids grew up, classic, they were watching, Finding Bigfoot or one of those equivalent shows, and the kid was 13 or something at the time. Just goes, Mum, I remember that. I've seen that. That's what we saw at the falls that day. And
wow.
And yeah, and she also had a side of it, and she was comparing it to her 2 brothers who were kind of 6'3", fucking SAS type characters.
Right. Yeah.
And she was like, fucking dwarfed them.
Wow.
Dwarfed them. So
wow.
that's the 2010 encounter.
There you go. Bit of bonus content there.
Yeah.